So today, we're in for a treat. I'm going to try to replicate my hairdresser and friend Nadia's spicy ginger sauerkraut. It is so good. My last hair appointment, she gave me a jar, and I came home and I ate half the jar. And I loved it so much that I immediately went online to look for crocks, because it's a lot of fermenting, so you want to have a crock. And my original crock was this bad boy here. Huge. This was a 3-gallon. And this is made in the U.S. by, I believe, the company's Ohio Stoneware. And I liked it because it had a large water channel. But I didn't realize how huge 3 gallons was going to be. And fortunately for me, there was a shipping mishap. And look what happened in shipping. So I ordered this from Wiseman Trading Company. They're an online company, and they were awesome. When I told them what happened, they were going to immediately send a replacement. But I had mentioned to the guy, oh, it's kind of huge. And he said, if you want, we could trade you for a smaller model. So I ended up getting this one. This is a German brand, and it's Schmidt, because the Ohio company, they only make this size. They don't make, and larger. They don't make smaller. So if you're watching this video, Ohio Stoneware, can you make a smaller version? This is made really well. The one thing, this is nice too. I mean, I like the size, but the one thing that I liked about this one is the bottom is smooth, and this one I have to keep it on this towel because the glaze is rough. And maybe what I'll do is put some felt or something on the bottom, glue it on the bottom so it doesn't scratch anything. But anyhow, so this is what the crock looks like inside. And it has these little ovals, half circles, and they're food safe. And this is supposed to be your weight. So this is the first time I'm making sauerkraut, but it's supposed to be really easy to do. So let's get to it. The cabbage, you're just going to basically cut it into quarters. So you cut it in half and then cut it again. And then you're going to want to remove the core off. So that's just an easy cut. And then you're going to take the quarter, and then you're just going to basically slice it. You know, you want to try to do it in thin pieces, but it's going to shrink down so it doesn't, you know, it's whatever you like. And then if you want to cut it again, you can, so that's smaller pieces. All right. So that's how you're going to do the cabbage. So we're going to chop up the Daikon. This is a Japanese radish, and it's a. I already bought some seeds to plant for this fall. It's a fall crop, and so you want to peel it and cut off. If yours is like mine, where it was already cut off, because this is a huge long root. Go ahead and cut these ends off too, because they've kind of oxidized. So you just want to cut these into like what I would call matchstick kind of cutting format. I don't know, what do you call that? I'm not a trained chef, so I don't know the terminology, but I will show you. Okay, so you get a couple like this, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, and you just want to cut it like this. So you just get nice, even pieces like that. These are so yummy when they're fermented. Oh my God. So that's why I got quite a few Daikons. You want to do a lot. We're going to do the carrots, and aren't these pretty? I got these from Trader Joe's. I actually tried to grow this same variety, and they never grew for me. So for $2, you can just pick yourself up some from Trader Joe's. A lot easier than growing them sometimes. But this is a really pretty carrot, and so I thought I'd throw these in. And you're just going to do the same kind of chopping method that you did for the Daikon radish, where you're going to do it like a matchstick. I just think this is so pretty, so I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay, you get the idea? We'll see what happens in the sauerkraut, whether this color will leach out into the sauerkraut or not. It won't bother me if it does. We're also adding turmeric to it, so it's going to be a yellow color anyhow. So there will be some color to it. All right. Okay, so we're going to peel our ginger. Do you know you can just use a spoon, the back of a spoon, and this is how you can peel ginger. So you just do it like this, and you just go away from yourself, and it peels a lot easier than trying to use a vegetable peeler. So I'm going to finish doing that, and
Okay,
I'll come back. Into the food processor, I am adding 3 cloves of garlic, about 2 to 3 inches of ginger root that I peeled using the scraping method I showed you, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of, almost 2 tablespoons. I over poured, which is why you should never pour over your item, your bowl, but it's okay, I caught it. And I like it spicy, so about 2 tablespoons of chili powder. And then I'm going to add some of this turmeric to it too. I think I will do, she didn't tell me how much, but this is a pretty strong spice, so I will add a couple teaspoons. I decided just to add 1 teaspoon of the turmeric to start off with, and I'll look at it and see whether or not it needs more. Okay, so next what you're going to do is for every 2 pounds of cabbage and chopped veggies, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of either sea salt, you could use pickling salt, Himalayan salt, all those things work fine. Canning salt. What you don't want to use is the Morton's iodine salt, you know, not necessarily that brand, but any iodine salt, regular table salt. So that's the only one you don't want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and use the sea salt and sprinkle that on. I'm not using Himalayan salt because my Himalayan salt is really chunky, chunkier than this, and I don't want to grind it down because I'm lazy. But anyhow, okay, so basically what you're going to do is you're just going to salt this really well, like so, for every 2 pounds. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to extract the moisture out of these vegetables, and that's what's going to create the brine. So just give it a good stir, and then you're going to go ahead and add that to the crock. Now, I lined my crock with a couple of the big cabbage leaves on the bottom and also reserved some for the top. So I decided it was just easier to mix with my hands. Of course, you want to make sure your hands are clean because you don't want to obviously introduce bad bacteria. The fermenting is going to create good bacteria, and it's really good for your body. So you're just going to keep mixing until you feel like the salt and the spices are pretty well distributed in the little bowl. Okay, so we're gonna put the lid on, and then we're just gonna let it sit for a couple hours. And what should happen is when we come back, you're gonna see that the salt has extracted water from the veggies, and this stuff should be submerged in the salt brine. If not, then we're gonna add some salt water to it. So we'll come back in a couple hours and see what happens. I wanted to show you that I added even more of the salt water to the crock because it really needs to be submerged in the water. So at least a couple by a couple inches. And now I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm going to pour more salt water into the liquid chamber there. And that's, like I mentioned before, is going to prevent a seal. So I will do a follow-up video to show you the big reveal of how the sauerkraut came out. See you in about 6 weeks. P.S. You're going to want to also periodically check on this, because the water level will go down, and you're going to want to refill it with salt water as time goes on.